I'm going to show you how to find profitable products by looking through other sellers' inventory using a method called reverse sourcing. I'm Joe with FBA Basecamp, and today I'm going to show you how to use SellerAmp to go through other sellers' inventory and try to find profitable products. I've gone through and looked at a few of them here to try to find something and speed things along so you don't have to have all the looking through all the different products. But basically, this was probably like the fifth one that I started going through on a rabbit trail here and then got to. So I found these. I typed in Bic mechanical pencils because I was trying to find some back to school products. Something I don't source a whole lot of, so I figured it'd be fun for both of us to kind of look through this. So what I did is I went and tried to find something that wasn't clearly, like this one here is a 4-pack. It's probably something that might be more of a wholesaler type thing. But so I clicked on the normal single one, I believe, and oh no, I clicked on the 40-pack that's here. That brought me to this page, which then I looked through and saw, okay, it's 485, which I'm probably not going to be able to compete with that. But I'll scroll down and take a look at them to kind of see is there other sellers on there that are selling it for more, or how much are these ones are? So this one has 64,000 reviews, 1,700 reviews, 27,000. So it's probably something that I'm not going to be able to compete on that type of listing with them. So I'd move right past it, try to look for some other products. So then I got to this 1-pack we saw on the other page there. And that was something that I went through and said, okay, can I make any money on this? And at 862, probably not. So I'll scroll down and see, and obviously Amazon's on this listing a lot, which doesn't necessarily scare me, but I want to go through and take a look at it. I see a bunch of people listing FBM, so they obviously know that Amazon must be in stock quite a bit, and they're waiting for them to either go out or that they just keep it on their list here because they're an actual store. So this one says My Office Innovation. It says Staples Inc. I'm not sure if that's actually Staples or not, but that's 225,000 reviews. Again, another one for office supplies, 223,000. So they may actually sell these. It's hard to tell, but listing them FBM, if they get some, great. If they don't, they're not, sitting there with inventory sitting at Amazon. So probably not something that would work for what we're doing. But I will go down and see, okay, these other sellers, are there anybody on here that may make sense to reverse source on? And again, if they're in the thousands, it's not going to be somebody that makes sense. But this one here, the below price deals, has 88. They have 4 stars, which isn't great, but there might be something that we can go. So I clicked this one and I went through and it brought up this window here. And then when I look at them, I see, okay, they have 18,000 ASINs and they only have 88 reviews. So right there, that kind of, to me, flags them as being a drop shipper. And it could be something that's different, or they just have a store that they can list a bunch of products. But to me, that's somebody that I'm not really going to be able to compete with much because they're not playing by the rules, and it's something that they're going to get canned for at some point. But in this case, I think I did still click on office products to try to see what would come up. It came with this Papermate product, and I clicked that, brought it in to see if that would be something that would be profitable. I don't think it was. It was something that just wasn't going to make sense, or I couldn't find that exact listing. So I went through again and pulled up the different sellers that are on here. 177, 238. None of these are bad. But somebody like with 11, that's somebody that I know, and their prime is that I can compete with there. Again, 64 is a great one. So I started clicking and opening up some of these, and it brought me down into, yes, again, I clicked on the Papermate to try to see if I could find them. Didn't. But when I started pulling up to reverse source the other storefronts here, that Evelyn Market one, and some of these other ones that came up, again, I tried to find, I had a bunch of the command strips, and I know from looking them up previously that you have to get them incredibly inexpensive to be competitive. The wholesalers do really, really well with them. And a lot of the stationery honestly does really, really well. The wholesalers do really, really well. If you're going to be selling them during Q4, the prices all change. So a lot of times some of these products may come back around and be more profitable, or you may be able to source them in different places that make more sense. But for my purposes, I want to try to find something that I can buy and sell now, and then maybe continue to sell into back to school. So anyway, the go through and I can source by the product brand, or I can go through by the category to try to see what else they might have. So in this case, I think I clicked on office products, and started to go through and saw what they had, and didn't find anything really interesting. So I went to the next seller that I could find. And then again, right at the top here, I see this Fisher Space Pen, which I've heard of them before, but I've never really seen anything with them. So I looked at that. I said, okay, they're selling FBM. They're also they're selling FBM and FBA. Amazon doesn't happen to be on this listing. So the first things I want to look for, I'll click on it and see, okay, it's by Fisher Space Pen, which is actually the name of the company. So that's good. The brand should be able to match. And then I'll dig a little bit into that listing to just double check to make sure what it actually is. This one lists the 400B, which is the matte black option for there with the black clip. So then I went on to Google and tried to search through here, and I got to there by clicking either Google here, or there's some other options up here. You can use different stuff, but I went to Google, clicked on the shopping, or you can leave it as all. I started going through all these to see what I could find because the 294 jumped out, and I was like, man, that's way too expensive. But then I realized that's probably a bulk pack. Zorro is a good place to source a lot of different things, tools and all sorts of stuff. I believe they're part of Granger, but in this case, I want to see what they had. So I clicked on them, and it brought up the Zorro. It also said, hey, you get today only, you get 15% off using this code. And then on this one, it had also Rakuten popped up yelling at me and said, hey, well, actually, it was 15% off earlier, so there might be something that just changed just recently. So even if it's 6%, so we'll use 6% for this. So this has each individual pen listed at the 2265. They're sold in packs of 13, so you have to buy 13 of them. That's where it gets to that point. But on this one, I wouldn't necessarily be concerned about the 13 because they sell 66, and there's not really that many people on the listing. They're all kind of in a competitive range. This guy's a little bit out of there. But these are all sellers that are doing, they're selling it at the same price, and the price is really stable. Obviously, you can see. I don't know how far it goes back. Yeah. I mean, this is a super stable product, and it sells a lot. I don't know if that 66 is actually even remotely close. It's probably quite a bit more than that. And there's no variation, so it's just this one selling. So I'll go ahead and look at those things and try to see what's going on with this, and then just try to make sure there's no IP complaints, which doesn't look like there's any on this one. I'm going back a year and I don't see any like big cliffs dropping off where it goes down to like one seller. So all these things are good signs of a good product, and this is like awesome to see if this price maintains the same. So if I can find this for a profitable price, then I might get it even if it's at a lower ROI or lower profit. So in this case, I'll go through and I have settings on mine to do some partial splits. I don't have the optimizer; it gives you the lower pricing on some of the placement fees. And I also have in for Prep Center, so the Prep Center handles all my stuff, which is why I don't put taxes in when I'm entering in these products. But I'll go through. So I went to this and saw the 2265, and then I get the 15%, and then the 6%. So I go back to here, and I'll type in here the 2265. I'll do minus 15%, and that gives me 1925, which is profitable there, but still not really great. Then if I do the minus 6% that I'll have for the cash back, that'll come onto there. And now brings it into better. It's not great, but if I can find it for a better price, I might look at it. But that's something that I necessarily wouldn't be that worried about, to make, $2.50 off each product. It doesn't really cost me that much to buy each one of them. And again, if I can find it cheaper, or if the Rakuten or something goes back to a better price point, because it was at 12% earlier when I first looked at it, then it might make enough of a margin there. You can also check to see if there's gift cards for Zorro, which I'm not sure of. And then you can also use a cashback or points credit card to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. But on this one, on something like this, I don't know that I would be that concerned with the 8% because it's so stable that I know I'm going to make that. So unless I'm going to be earmarking that money for something else, I don't think that I would be worried about spending it on this one. I'd go ahead and buy this, at least test the 13 that they have a minimum of, and see if we can try to continue to get better discounts on the next order from it. So this one would be a winner for me. And I want to show a couple other things here. So again, I'll go through and I see somebody with 920 ASINs with only 57, so either they're maybe doing a lot of retail arbitrage, or again, it could be drop shipping. So on something like that, I'll kind of click through and see. But a lot of these don't really lend themselves to drop shipping. So this might be somebody that just has a lot of, they find a lot of deals with the retail arbitrage, or they're buying just a few of them at a time with the doing OA. Again, I'll go back into some of these people. I'll take a look at seeing what they're selling. Now, this might be somebody that you want to go through and double check, Samsonite and Wanger, to kind of go through and see if you can find more profitable products with it. Some of the features that you can see on the side here is that people will pop up automatically. You can see the bright yellow here saying that Amazon is always in stock, at least for the last several months. And then they sell a lot of FBM. So this is somebody that that if you can sell at FBA, like this person managed to jump in there, they're probably going to get more of the buy box. This one looks like the buy box might be suppressed, but they get more of the buy box than anybody else is going to get on there, being at their FBA and price similar to the FBM or lower in this case. So it's something that you can kind of go through and quickly scan, and you can easily see, okay, if there's something you want to sell on or not. Um, and then if you want to go further with the reverse sourcing, you can even drop some of the stuff into Keepa, where you can take the this number here, which is the storefront ID, which is also right here. So this the seller ID. You could drop them into Keepa, and you can either go by one at a time and scan through their entire store to make sure it matches whatever criteria that you have set for it, or you can do up to 50 storefronts at one time and scan through all of them, try to find the profitable products that hit all your marks, make sure that they're the BSR is where you want it to be. Whatever the price point, if you want anything that's over, say, $28, you want it over that for the sales price. You can sort through all that stuff to kind of narrow it down, so you don't have to pick through these one by one. And then you can go back through and use SellerAmp to then qualify those leads further at that point. But then if you do want to jump to different things, or you see if they, this is a good seller, you found some profitable products on them, mark down the seller ID and the seller name. So that way, if you see them pop up again, you know that they might be on some good listings, you might want to check. But then also you can kind of continue to check to see, if they have additional products that might come up later. Or again, throw them into Keepa and see kind of what products they're continually adding into their storefront. So this is something that, if this one was great, I would then save these, and I have different sheets for everything from back to school to Q4 to seasonal. I have different spreadsheets that I have set up that way. And then I'll even inside of SellerAmp itself, I'll then have, you see, I have a ton of these, got to organize some of these a little bit better, but I'll change these so I can put the actual ASIN into some of my Google Sheets. So some of them will be something like that. It's close to where I want to have this at, want to check back and look at later. Some of them are specific to, if I got the, where I got the lead through. So this one be through some coaching groups, and if something's suitable for FBM. So I have different ways that I set that up that I'll go to Google Sheets, so I can then organize the individual products that I'm sourcing, and A, know where I got them from, and then B, be able to go back to them if I need to take a look. So that's kind of how I go through the reverse sourcing. So again, if I found that this one was profitable, it might be one that I can then go through these sellers. So this would be one that I would look at. That's the one that we were just at. That one, see, obviously they wouldn't do me much good because they're probably buying products that's such a reduced price that I wouldn't be able to compete with them. Same thing there, same thing there, there. Maybe I can do something with that one. So then I go through it again and do the same thing, go through all the products, see if it's something that looks interesting, that doesn't look like they're knockoffs or a drop shipper. Double check. This person obviously is very heavy into clothing and sports, and then I do a little bit of the other stuff. So if they're selling some of the things, if I look at some brands that I might have in my storefront and that I'm used to sourcing and know that I can sell profitably, then I know that they might be at the same caliber that I'm at and able to, reverse source their storefronts a little bit easier. Same thing, go through all of them, double check them, and if they make sense and you like them, save their seller IDs, and then you can always go back to it later and check what their their storefront's doing. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and let us know. We have the FBA Basecamp Discord group. It's a free group where we're always in there answering everybody's questions. It's a great community. and we try to help anybody out with everything from sourcing to different flips that we see, to just general questions on getting started. So if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to help, and I hope that this video is helpful. If it was, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. And then you can double check our in the description for different links and of the products that we use, including SellerAmp. And if you go ahead and click them, we appreciate it. It helps give us a little bit back where we can then go ahead and continue to make great content. We appreciate your feedback on the content as well, and I hope this was helpful. Thanks.